Okay, so today we're going to combine the last couple things we've done. We are doing our angles that we learned last week. We're going to add in some variables in here. So it'd be interesting to see how I do here. I didn't leave myself much room to work. We shall see. So the first question here says, determine the value of x. Then, using that value, determine the value of each angle. Okay, so if we look here, we have a straight line. Okay. So we know that the straight line equals 180. 180 equals these two angles added up. So simply, because if that was 40 and that was 140, we just add those up having the 180. But it's not. It's 4x plus 15 plus 2x plus 11. Okay? So now we have to combine some like terms. So let's take this and this, combine those two, and we'll combine this and this. So that's going to equal 180 equals 6x plus 26. Let's rearrange. We're going to move that over to the other side. Of 180 minus 26 equals 6x. So that equals 154 equals 6x. Then we'll divide by 6, and we get, just one second, I don't have my calculator ready. 154 divided by 6 is an ugly number. I have 180 minus 26, or why is that such an ugly number? So it's 25.7. 25.7 equals, that's our first question done. Okay. Second question says, okay, let's determine what the angle is. So let's substitute in what we found for x. In this case, be 4 times 25.7 plus 15, which is going to equal 4 plus 15 equals approximately 118. Then we'll go 2 times 25.7 plus 11. We should know the answer should be what, 62. So there's our two angles, right there and right there. Now to be true here, we should write in the proof. And I don't have my sheet on me, so I want to say this is supplementary angle, SAT. Because supplementary adds to 150, not 150, 180. The same thing here, determine the value, then determine the value of each angle. Okay, well we have a C pattern here. Let's make this a little bigger. We have a C pattern here. So we know a C pattern adds up to 180. So 180 equals the two angles added up. So 4x plus 2 plus 5x minus 1, which equals 180 equals 9x plus 1. Rearrange, move that 1 over. 180 minus 1 equals 9x. I'm going to continue over here. 179 equals 9x. Then we get here, we divide by the coefficients. And this is probably going to give us an ugly number again. Yep, 19.9. So x equals 19.9. So let's go back here and figure out what each angle is. So we have 5 times 19.9 minus 1, which is approximately 98 degrees. 98 degrees. Then over here we have, where's my pen? 4 times 19.9 plus 2. We should equal what? 102? Not 102, 82. 4 times, something wrong with my calculator. 4 times 19.9 plus 2 equals 82 degrees. So all we're doing here is we're using our rule, a law that we did last time, and this one here would be C pattern. And we know what it's going to equal, just like if this was like 60 and 120, we just add those together if we were missing one like we did last week. We're using the variables instead. Now this one's a little bit of a doozy, but it's good. I like it. So let's take a look at this first. First things first, we have two triangles put together, okay? So we know a triangle eats 180 degrees, so we have to figure out what triangle do you work with. Well, if you look at this one, it has an X, and a Y, two unknowns. So over here we have X, X, X. We only have one variable. So I'd much rather work with the left one. So that's what we're going to do first, okay? So we know 180 degrees is in a triangle, and that equals all three angles added up. So we're just going to add up our three angles, but in this case they are not numbers, but small equations. But we can just add them up and go from there. So let's identify our like terms. And combine those up. So in this case we have 180 equals 4x, 5x. Then we're going to have, well, 18 and 7 equal 11, so it's going to be minus 20. We're going to move that over there. So 180 plus 20 equals 5x, which equals 200, which equals 5x. Right here we divide by the coefficient. So x is going to equal, what's that, 10, 20, 30, 40? Yes, 40. So 40 equals x. So now that we know that, we could hypothetically find all the angles here. Like this would be 40 plus 7, which equals 47. This would be 3 times 40. 3 times 40 minus 18. We could go through and figure out all those, but we don't need to. The question asks, determine the value of x and y. So let's go over here and plug in that 40. So this here would be 40 plus 21, which equals 61 degrees. Now we don't need these because it didn't ask, so we could find them by just plugging it in. This one here is going to be 40 plus 17, which is 57 degrees. So now we have two parts of our triangle, we just need the last part. So once again, we know that a triangle, let's do this, triangle equals 180. In this case, if we add up the three things, we have y plus 57 plus 61. Or we can just go, if we rearrange this and move them over, it's minus 57 minus 61 equals y. So what's that give us? 180 minus 7 minus, 62 degrees. So y equals 62. So there's our two answers right there and there. So we're not learning anything new, we're just applying our algebra to find some answers. Oh, here's a big one. Determine the value of x, and then determine the value of each angle. All right, So what kind of shape do we have here? And these little cricks right here are not different angles. They're just a line. I have no clue why it looks like that. So in the previous question, we knew a triangle is 180. Well, this isn't a triangle. So let's find out the interior angle of this. There's two ways we could do this. One would be to apply our formula. The formula we learned last week was 180 times n minus 2, where n's the number of sides. This would be 180 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 minus 2, so 180 times 3. Now 180 times 3 is going to be 540, I think, equals 540 degrees. Okay, that's one way to find it. The other way on a shape like this, if we could find it, we could actually make our triangles here, coming up from one vertex. We could see how many triangles we can make. Now we have one triangle, two triangles, three triangles. So we go 3 times 180 would also give us 540 degrees, if we wanted to do that. Both of those are correct. Okay. So now we know that this is how many degrees are in our shape. So the question is, what adds up to that? Well, all the angles inside add up to it. So I'm going to switch colors here so we can make a. So we're just going to add up all my angles. So 2x. Usually I start here, then I go around as we go around. Me writing x there kind of confuses. So I start there and start going around. So what's the next angle? Plus 3x minus 4. The next angle is plus 2x. I think that's plus 10. The next angle is just 110. And the next one is 3x plus 4. And all that equals 540. And then we're right back where we were before. Identify our like terms. There's all my like terms. And I'll leave all the other ones blank. So that equals 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 2 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So we have 10x. Then we have 4. Well, this is 120. 128 altogether. Plus 128 equals 540. Now we have to rearrange. Move that over. And then we get 10x equals 540. So we have 412. And divide by 10, divide by 10. X equals 41.2. That's another ugly number. 110. Oh, I messed up. That's why. Because that is a minus 4. So that's going to equal just 120 here. See, always when you get kind of a weird number, it's good to go back and double check everything. So that's 120 because the plus 4 and minus 4 are just going to cancel each other out. So that's 120, that's 120. That's going to be 420, which is going to equal 42 as our final number. Then our last part, so we've done this part of the question. Determine the value of each angle. Okay, so that just means we're going to plug in our values. So 2 times 42, that angle is going to equal 84 degrees. Right here, 3 times 42 minus 4. Well, 3 times 42 is going to be 126. So that's 122 degrees. This one here is 2 times 42 plus 10. So 2 times 42 is 84, plus 10 is 94 degrees. That one's already done, and this last one is 3 times 42 plus 4 this time, which is going to equal, what do we get up there? 126, 130 degrees. And there's our answers right there, 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 and there. So, last question. Here's kind of a word problem one to kind of get you thinking. So one angle is 12 less than half another. 12 less a half than another. Okay. If the angles are complementary, okay, so complementary means what? 90 degrees. What are the measures of each angle? So we know that these both add to 90. So I have two angles that add to 90. One's 12 less than half the other one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set the other one, I'm going to write it as 2x, because half would then just be x. And I don't have to write, if I did another way, I could write as a fraction. But that would, like, if I had the original angle be x, the other angle be x divided by 2. Then I have a fraction. I don't really like fractions. So, here we go. So let's put this all together. So I have my original angle, oops, that's my original angle, plus the other angle, which is half of it, 12 less than it. So that's my original angle here, 2x. And then the other one is 12 less than half. So x is half of 2x. Then I took 12 off. Sorry, my daughter just came in and out. So that's going to be 3x minus 12 equals 90. Let's move that over. So I get 3x equals 90 plus 12, which equals 3x equals 102. Then I'm going to divide both by 3. So that's going to equal 34. So x is 34. Okay. So my two angles then, angle 1, let's make it 2x, which equals 2 times 34, which equals 68. Angle 2 is x minus 12, which equals 34 minus 12, which equals 22. Is that right? Yep. You can always check because 68 plus 22 equals 90, which is our complementary angle. Perfect. So you have a worksheet to work through with all this stuff. Just go back to your laws, right? Go back to your proofs and go from there. And all you're doing is a little bit of algebra included with it. Okay, so have a great day.